Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my channel and the topics of my presentation that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @DougPless. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as the directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. And setups in that asset can be taken any number of ways. For example, in the S&P 500, setups can be taken with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord and the chat in YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And hello Z, welcome. Glad you're here. All right, here's my agenda for today, Monday, January 8th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. And then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know, and I will be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with news items. First of all, it's a pretty light week for news, economic data, and events. The economic data really does not start until Thursday with the CPI report out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Also jobless claims, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So CPI could be a market mover. And then on Friday, PPI data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Also on Friday, bank earnings begin. And then also there are a few Fed speakers throughout the week. So again, a pretty light data week. All right, let's move on to positional analysis. And I want to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES futures in Bookmap, and the bulls are definitely back today. Very bullish day, bullish order flow and hedging flow that we'll see in a few minutes. All right, before I take a closer look at this chart, I do want to take a look at the underlying index. Take a look at a larger time frame. So I'm going to start with a one-day chart for SPX, which is the underlying index for the S&P 500. And hello, demo trader. Looks like Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, so this is the SPX index. This current rally began on October 30th. For a variety of reasons, IV collapse, put Vanna rally, falling treasury yields, dovish FOMC, better than expected inflation reports. And then last week, really toward the last couple of days of December, the rally started to weaken right around SPX 4800, and now it looks like it is recovering today. And again, a very bullish day. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. All right, so that is the larger time frame. Now let's step down a little bit to a 1 hour chart. This is the SPX 30-day 1 hour chart. Here's the resistance just below 4800 at the toward the end of the year, so a week before last. And now SPX recovering. Note the support level at 4700 was broken on Thursday and Friday last week. Now SPX trading above that key 4700 level. All right, let me point out the other levels on this chart. So first, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. It's based on the options market. I update that over the weekend. It changes once a week, so those lines will remain in place for the week. The dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move. That's updated once a day. And note that SPX is trading above that level, up above the upper daily expected move for the day. All right, the dark red lines are showing Spotgamma levels. These are proprietary Spotgamma levels that are provided to Spotgamma subscribers, showing a variety of trading platforms. This is Thinkorswim. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. So first of all, the put wall at 4600. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. The next level up is 4705. That is the volatility trigger. That is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma and volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. And in a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. And note that at the beginning of the day, gamma notional for SPX was negative, and most likely will switch to positive if this rally continues for the day. All right, that volatility trigger did shift lower slightly from Friday, from 4720. That was a resistance level on Friday. We'll take a look at that in just a few minutes. Down to 4705. The next level up is 4800. First of all, that is the call wall. That's the strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. That level did move down from Friday, from 5,000 down to 4,800. And then 4,800 is also the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. So with the call wall moving down to 4,800 and the absolute gamma strike actually moved up to 4,800, that places more emphasis, more important on that 4,800 level. That could possibly be, if this rally continues up into January expiration, that and gamma notional becomes positive, that level could become a important pinning level. And as price increases and and expiration approaches, the gamma at that level will increase. We'll take a look at that closer in just a moment. All right, so those are the levels in range. Put wall on the downside, the potential floor, and the call wall at 4,800, the potential ceiling. Excuse me, and then finally, let's take a look at a 1 minute chart so we can see the levels in play for today. So it looks like the rally that began at the end of the day on Friday just resumed with the cash open today. The levels in play for today. Here's that volatility trigger at wrong tool. The volatility trigger at 47.05. That's also the zero gamma level. That level did act as support earlier today, and I pointed that out in Discord. That was a great launching point for long setup. Here's the upper daily expected move, and that level, there was some consolidation around that level, and now price is moving higher. All right, so those are the levels in play for today for the SPX. Volatility trigger and the upper daily expected move. SPX trading above those levels. All right, here is the ES futures and Bookmap. And on this chart, I have my own cloud notes. So I can show the SPX levels. Here's that 47.05 volatility trigger that had acted as support earlier this morning for a nice long setup twice. I also have SPY levels on this chart. And again, this is in my own cloud notes. So I like to show SPX levels, SPY levels, and then other levels of interest. So here's the upper daily expected move for ES. Note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. That changes a little bit every day. And earlier today, it was right around 37. Today it looks like it is somewhere between 37 and 38. Anyway, that's what I'm using. So I'm showing this 47.05 level at ES 47.42. So I'm using ES minus SPX equals 37. And note I post all those index relationships that I'm using, ES to SPY, NQ to QQQ, ES minus SPX, and NQ minus NDX. I post those all in Discord every morning. Excuse me. All right, so very bullish day in the SP 500. We'll talk about setups in a few minutes. I'm just focusing on the levels right now. So key level for this morning, the 47.05 volatility trigger acting as a launching point. Also note that this level this looked very similar to Friday with the 47.20 level. That was the volatility trigger on Friday, and the upper daily expected move just above. And I'm going to take a look at a couple of screenshots from Friday. So this is Friday, and this is what happened at that 47.20 level on Friday. Huge rally in the morning, and price consolidates and then reverses lower. And that didn't happen today. Here's the hero signal from Friday. This is again from Friday, and the hero signal initially very bullish in the morning, and then right around 10:10 traders took their foot off the gas, and then the S&P 500 finally moved lower. So that was a potential for today. I posted a reference to that move on Friday, and that did not happen today. The price action today was too bullish. All right, so there was some consolidation around this cluster of levels, and then price started to move higher. And we'll take a closer look at setups in a few minutes, and we'll see what options traders are doing. All right, so a very bullish day again in the S&P 500. Key levels 47.05 volatility trigger, and price is now trading above the upper daily expected move and above both the SPY volatility trigger and the SPX volatility trigger, which is typically bullish. When price can move above those levels and stay above those levels, that is a bullish indication. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. Oh, shifts in levels again. Volatility trigger shifted slightly lower. Call wall shifted down to 4,800. Absolute gamma strike shifted up to 4,800, kind of consolidating the gamma at the 4,800 level and looking for potential attraction to that level if this rally continues and SPX remains in a positive gamma environment. SPY, there were no shifts in levels. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. This is the NQ futures and Bookmap. Very bullish day in NASDAQ. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I do want to focus first of all on QQQ. This is a one-day chart. The regular trading hours shown on the dark portion on the right here. Note the put wall at 395 acted as support. This is around 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time, so before the market opened. Then at the open, this 398 L4 level, large gamma 4 level, acted as kind of a launching point for the rally. Note most of the gamma levels here are below. And we'll take a look tomorrow and see if all these gamma levels shift higher with this rally. So put wall, volatility trigger, and absolute gamma strike at 399, all much lower, and QQQ continues to move higher above those levels. All right, shifts in levels for QQQ. The only shift was the volatility trigger that shifted down from 402 to 397. So QQQ is trading well above its volatility trigger, most likely what will be a positive gamma environment tomorrow. Finally, let's take a look at NDX. Let's just zoom in on today. Regular trading hours shown on the dark portion on the right. NDX looks like a continuation of the rally that began on Friday afternoon. NDX gapped up today, continues to move higher. Also trading above its volatility trigger at 16,425. All right, and there were no shifts in levels for the NDX. All right, so just like the ES, I have my own cloud notes, so I can show QQQ levels. There's the 397 volatility trigger acting as support before the cash open. 398 launching point. for a move higher at the open. Here's that NDX 425 volatility trigger, and note that NQ is trading well above its upper daily expected move and its upper weekly expected move. So very, very bullish day in NASDAQ. All right, again, we'll take a look at setups in a few minutes. All right, let's take a look at Gamma Notional to see how market makers were positioned on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day. I'm looking at the data table that is at the bottom of the AM Founders Note, toward the end of the note. What I'm going to focus on here is Gamma Notional. This is market makers' position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day, and this is for the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000. Note, with the exception of NDX, these numbers are negative. Again, this is at the beginning of the day, market makers' position on the Gamma curve, and I would say mildly negative at this point. All these numbers did shift higher from Friday to still negative, but less negative. Pardon me. All right, so this is Gamma Notional, and let's take a look at. Let's just take a quick look at the Vanna model, see if there's anything of interest here. This is for SPX. Not really. I'll go over this really quick. So what this chart is showing is market makers' delta notional on the vertical axis. This is their delta exposure, and the spot price for SPX on the horizontal axis. There are two curves on this chart. The light gray curve is showing how market makers' delta notional may change with changes in price only. And then the purple curve is showing how market makers' delta notional may change with changes in price and implied volatility. And that change in delta notional with a change in implied volatility is the Vanna effect. Vanna is a second order Greek. Let's see where SPX is trading right now. Right around 47.35. So right at the bottom of the curve, essentially. So this morning, let's go back and check. At 4,700 at just at the beginning of the day. So right around here, there was a little bit of a Vanna tailwind, indicating market makers could buy back short futures. So in a negative gamma environment, traders are long puts, market makers are short puts, and they have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. So as price increases, implied volatility drops. Let's take a look at VIX. Here's VIX for the day, falling. Really started falling around 4 a.m. So implied volatility dropping, price increasing. Market makers can buy back their short futures they use to hedge options trades. So that added a little bit of a put Vanna fuel to the rally today that now may be coming to an end as the S&P 500 has reached the bottom of this curve. Let's take a look at one other thing. I want to take a look at this absolute gamma chart for SPX, just to focus on, let me zoom in on this just a little bit, and just to focus on the 4,800 level here. That's 4,700, here's 4,800. So that is the absolute gamma strike, and the also the call wall. And that is, they're really 4 levels of significant gamma. Note the orange bars are showing positive gamma or call gamma, and the blue bars are showing negative gamma or put gamma. So gamma concentrated at 4,600, 4,700, 4,800, and 5,000. So remember, the absolute gamma strike moved up from 4,700 to 4,800, and then the call wall moved down from 5,000 to 4,800. So concentrating more of the gamma weighted open interest at 4,800. All right, let's take a look at some setups now. And this is really what was key for today. And I'm going to focus on what options traders have been doing today. Let me zoom out on this. All right, so this chart is the hero signal. This is hedging impact real-time options. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. Again, so everything that we've looked at so far, other than Bookmap, has been based on static data information. The levels in the chart, the gamma notional, Vanna model, that's all based on static data that's updated once a day that I use in my planning process. Now we're switching to execution, looking at real-time data in Bookmap and also in Hero here. Again, showing hedging impact real-time options. What this chart is showing is price for SPX and the hero signal with the purple line. So white is the price for SPX, the purple line is the hero signal, and that's showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal for SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, all into one combined signal. All right, let's zoom in on this chart, and let me just point out how bullish this day is. This is my watch list, mostly large cap tech, and then the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. These are showing 15-minute thumbnails of the hero signal, and that's quite a bit of green there. All right, let's zoom in on this chart now. One thing I want to point out, recently I have been just showing the turning off the extended hours of trading. And today there were some substantial options trades. So SPX options and ES options trade before the 9:30 open. And there were substantial options trades before the cash open. Note this flow alert that came in right around 9:15, indicating significant options activity. So this is the, right here, this is the 9:30 cash open. So there was significant options activity going on before the cash open. And here's the 47.05 hedge wall that I mentioned. That was a great launching point for longs this morning. All right, one other thing I want to take a look at. So we're looking at extended hours of trading. Note this notional value here, 8.1 billion. That's huge. That's very, very large. Very, very bullish options trades and hedging activity. So when traders buy calls and or sell puts in SPX, SPY, ES, Market makers take the opposite side of those trades, and they hedge with ES futures. So that's the right relationship. That's why I'm focused so much on the SPY, the SPX on my ES chart, because options traders are trading those options and market makers are hedging those trades with futures. All right, let's take a look at, let's separate out puts and calls. And this is a very informative chart. The orange line is showing calls. This rising orange line indicates traders are buying calls very aggressively. They've been buying calls all day. Shown by the positive notion of value, the rising orange line. Note also the blue line is rising. They're selling puts and buying calls, and that is very, very bullish. When both of these lines are moving in the same direction, this is pretty unusual for the S&P 500. Typically, traders are buying calls and buying puts, and it's a matter of who is more aggressive. But today they are buying calls and selling puts, and that is very bullish. Both lines moving in the same direction and really have continued to move in the same direction all day. So let's go to the back to Bookmap, go to ES, and really it was just a matter of finding a place to get long. So let's zoom in on the morning session here. So here's the again the setups at 47.05. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Let's focus on the order flow. So we know this first test of 47.05 did act as support. Note the volume dots are showing, they're showing buy minus sell, market buy minus sell. Magenta dots indicate more sellers than buyers. Green volume dots indicate more buyers than sellers. And you can see as price reverses higher, aggressive buyers come in. Same here, just before 10 a.m. Aggressive sellers on the way down. Note there were a couple of iceberg buys. And here in this case, these iceberg sell orders, much more significant. But options traders and aggressive buyers were fueling the rally today. Also, buy stop orders, that's shown by the rising yellow line. That's often a very, very good directional indicator. So the yellow line showing buy stop orders. And then the dark blue line showing cumulative volume delta, both rising confirming the move higher. Let me just take a look at something here. It looks like for some reason my stop orders are not showing. All right, I'll look at that later. Looking for the on-chart indicator, I see the sell stops. I don't see any buy stops, even though they're definitely driving price higher. Oh, here we go. Must be pretty small, but buy stop orders definitely fueling that move higher. All right, so the rally just continues to move higher and higher. And the key for today was just to keep an eye on Hero, the order flow. So again, CVD stops moving higher, confirming the move higher, and also traders continue to take positive delta positions, buying calls and selling puts in a very significant way. Again, that 8 billion notional value is very, very, very large. All right, Caesar asked, does the VIX chart intraday factor into your trading at all? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I look at VIX. It is a confluence. So definitely I look at VIX, especially in the context of the Vanna model and what how market makers are positioned on the gamma curve. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. Let me get rid of some of the noise in the heat map. Turn up the volume dots just a little bit. So very, again, a very bullish day in NASDAQ here. Let's go back to Hero, see what options traders are doing. So let's switch over to NASDAQ. So again, this is a combined signal for S&P 500. SPX, SPY, ES, and XSP. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. This is also a combined signal for the NDX and QQQ. And most of that is made up with QQQ. And call buyers definitely in charge today. Notional value is much smaller, but both lines positive. Much smaller than the S&P 500, but since let's say around 9:55, put line started to move up, and really from the cash open, traders are buying calls. So again, when traders sell puts and buy calls in QQQ and NDX, market makers take the opposite side of that and they hedge those trades with NQ futures. So just like the S&P 500, call buyers definitely in charge today. Let's take a look at one other signal that is provides a lot of useful information for the NASDAQ. This is the Mag 7 indicator. Let me just zoom out so I can show you what this is. This is a combined signal for the 7 stocks known as the Magnificent 7: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. And just like the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, traders are buying calls, shown by the rising orange line, and also selling puts, shown by the rising blue line. And this is one of the most bullish days I've ever seen, I think, seeing for the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Mag 7, all the blue line and the orange line all moving up for the entire day. Very, very bullish day. And traders are definitely buying the dip today. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. Rally continues higher. So just like the S&P 500, the key was to just find a pullback for a long, if you could. Let's zoom in on the morning session. So it looks like some consolidation right around this is the NQ 650 level, and then the NDX 16,500 level just above that. I'm looking at the point of control. That's this purple line. Right around noon, it moves up to the NDX 16,500 level and looks like it remains there. And you can see on the session volume profile, that is where most of the volume for the session is concentrated. All right, so there were, let's go back. Very sharp rally in the morning. Again, difficult to find pullbacks. Here's one just around 10 a.m. at the volatility trigger, 425 volatility trigger. There are more opportunities in this consolidation period. Note that 404 is the QQQ call wall. Right up here, QQQ call wall could potentially be resistance. All right, let's take a look at a few stocks. And if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, I'll be glad to do that. Bullish day here in Apple. Let's take a look at Hero, see what options traders have been doing in Apple. I'm going to change back to the total signal. So what is happening here is this large move just before noon is kind of obscuring the signal from earlier today. So we'll zoom in. All right, so looking at the earlier part of the day, there was an alert here earlier today. I don't see it now. But anyway, traders were taking positive delta positions in Apple. Apple's kind of been beaten down recently, so traders were coming in, taking advantage of the lower price and taking positive delta positions. And the only gamma level in play for today is this 182.50 hedge wall. And note large, let's see what traders were doing right around noon. So right around noon, first of all, they started selling puts. Large block orders, shown by the vertical lines there, traders selling puts. Looks like they may have been selling the puts to pay for calls they were buying. Again, puts shown by the blue line, rising blue line, traders selling puts. Rising orange line indicates traders are buying calls. Market makers selling the calls and have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, the next is AMD. Maybe a little bit of problem with Hero. Let me just refresh here. All right, CWR wants to look at NVIDIA. Yeah, that's on my list. And Z asks, is it possible to determine which strike levels are active in Hero? Not that I'm aware of. Let's take a look at something in Thinkorswim. So it is not, as far as I know, it's not possible in Hero, but it's very easy in Thinkorswim. So I have SPX selected. I'm going to go to the Trade tab and scroll down to the option stats at the bottom of the chart. And I'm going to take a look at call volume here. Going to hover over this. So this is the volume shown on the vertical axis, strike price on the horizontal axis. And I can just hover over this, the little block with the highest amount of volume. For some reason, try that again. All right, so that's the 8 Jan 4735. And that is the strike and the expiration with the largest amount of volume today. So that expires at the end of the day today. That's the 4735. And we can confirm that here in an options chain. Just looking at the volume there, 4735. And that confirms that is the strike with the largest, at least for the Jan 8 expiration. That is the strike with the largest volume today. All right, so if that's information that you want, you can really just look at an options chain. And for the S&P 500, it's a pretty good assumption that the strike with the largest volume, the expiration with the largest volume, will be the 0 DTE. All right, this is AMD. Note that 140 is the call wall key gamma strike. AMD trading above that level. We'll zoom in on this chart. And note the flow alert here indicating significant options activity. We'll see what traders are doing today. So they're buying calls and selling puts. Call buyers much more aggressive than put sellers, but both helping to drive price higher. Let's go to Bookmap. And note, go to AMD. Very bullish day in AMD, 142.50 being the hedge wall. Zoom in just a bit. So when we zoom in, we can see there were multiple pullbacks for long entry as traders were buying puts and selling calls. Pullback to VWAP, that's shown by the blue line there, light blue line. Pullback to 142, 143, some consolidation at 144. So pretty easy pullback entries to AMD. All right, Z asks, says, got it. So do we expect any kind of sell-off by the end of the day because of that? Well, traders could take profits. Yeah, so that that is possible. Something to keep an eye on. If traders are buying calls, those calls are let's go back. 47 calls are in the money. Yeah, so they're slightly in the money, but they're buying a lot of different strikes. And Z also asked, just want to clarify that if people were selling calls and buying puts, the notional number would be preceded by a negative sign. Yes, in Hero. Yeah, so if traders are taking negative delta positions, that would be shown by a falling Hero line, a negative notional value, and in that case, traders would be again taking negative delta positions. Market makers taking the opposite side, and selling futures to hedge their delta exposure. Let's go back to Hero. All right, so WRB, I'm not sure if you're asking a question, but the call wall for AMD is at 140. And in that case, that's where most of the calls are concentrated, and those calls, as they go further in the money, remember in a stock, traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. Those calls go deeper in the money, their delta increases. Market makers have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So we can take a look at that and in Equity Hub. Zoom in on this chart. So here's the call wall again, orange being call gamma. So as price continues to increase, those calls that are concentrated at that level go deeper in the money, their delta increases as they go further in the money. Market makers have to continue to buy AMD stock to hedge their delta exposure. So traders are long calls, market makers are short calls. All right, AMD. Now let's take a look at NVIDIA. Similar story. Very, very bullish day in NVIDIA. Note the timely flow alert just a minute or two after the cash open. And very early in the day, NVIDIA breaches its call wall, key gamma strike. All the calls concentrated at that level go deeper in the money. Market makers have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. That call wall breach helps to fuel this move higher. And let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to NVIDIA. And there's the 500 call wall. Breach very early in the morning. Note the very bullish order flow here. All the green volume dots. A lot of aggressive buyers coming in. So anyone who bought a call early in the morning, you're having a great day, maybe a great week and even month. Making a fortune on those calls. Right, so very, very bullish day in NVIDIA, helping to drive NASDAQ higher. All right, see, Z, you're welcome. CWR says he's up $8,000 on NVIDIA today. Great. Let's go back to Hero. All right, so NVIDIA continues to move higher. Let's go back and check S&P 500. All right, one thing I want to do, let's check the 0 DTE. So the purple line is showing, this is showing all trades, all expirations. I'm going to turn on next expiry. So the next expiry is the green line. And that is making up, it looks like a little bit over half of the total notional value today. So traders are trading in the 0 DTE trades that we saw in Thinkorswim, that 47.35 call, and also taking longer term trades. All right, WRB says he or she bought SPY calls at the open. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. Back to the S&P 500. All right, so the move just accelerates higher. Notice that now larger traders are joining the party, buying with iceberg orders. Finally, after fighting this rally all day, large traders are finally coming in and buying with iceberg orders, just helping to accelerate the move higher. All right, so it looks like the next level in play for the S&P 500 is the 4750 level. That was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. And the upper weekly expected move is just above. And remember, NASDAQ has already crossed above its upper weekly expected move. Also remember, 404 is the QQQ call wall. All right, my time is almost up. Any final questions? Last call for stocks. All right, way to go, CWR, WRB, buying calls. All right, Z, you're welcome. All right, my time is up. I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. Again, I love these interactive sessions. When you ask questions, post comments, stock suggestions, really love it. Thank you. Please keep it up. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.